I think we will go ahead and start with the roll call.
Chair Niblin,
Here.
Commissioner Krask, here. Commissioner Sledging,
Here.
Cooper, Commissioner Gordon,
Here.
Commissioner Campbell,
Here.
Commissioner Clifford.
Thank you. Welcome, Commissioner Kraske. I'm going to ask that you go ahead and lead us then in the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
With liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. It looks like our next order of business then is to approve the order of the agenda. Can I get a motion to do that? Looks like Commissioner Clifford.
I move that we approve the order of agenda.
Commissioner Gordon.
Second?
Excellent motion. A second. Why don't we go ahead and vote? Great. Looks like we have that unanimously approved. Thank you. The order of agenda is approved. There are no minutes to approve today, according to my agenda. Is that right? Thank you. We don't need a designation of liaison to the City Council meeting?
Correct.
Thank you. So that then takes us to the portion of the agenda for oral communications, and this is the section of the agenda that's available to the public to address the Planning Commission on any issue within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission that is not on the agenda. The time allowed for any speaker will be 3 minutes. I don't have any speaker cards. I'm not seeing anybody who wants to address the Commission, so I guess we'll go ahead and move on from there. I don't see any consent items either.
Right.
Thank you. So that then takes us to presentations, and this will be a set of introductory remarks from the newly appointed city manager, Kevin Woodhouse. Welcome, Mr. Woodhouse.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair and Commissioners. Kevin Woodhouse, the newly appointed city manager. I've been on the job for a week and 1 day, so really brand new. It's an honor to be here. I'm going to make my rounds to all of the commissions and committees eventually, and I'm starting here tonight with you, and started last Monday night with the City Council meeting. I believe I'll be at all of those meetings. But really, I just wanted to take a chance and not really talk long, but maybe tell you a little bit about my background, and then available to ask any questions you may have of me that maybe relate to my background and not so much relate to Pacifica, since I've only been on the job for 5 days and 6 days now. But first, I just really do want to comment, thank you for your service, because the commission and committee membership and community members that spend time and dedicate their time, volunteer their time for the city, is really a critical role in what Pacifica as a whole is trying to accomplish, and the form of government we have, and the way our government works, and the way our municipal code works. So it's a critical role. You know that, I know that, and people who don't know that will hopefully learn that, but I just wanted to personally thank you for, your service and commitment. So I'm not going to elaborately go through my entire background, and you may have seen my resume or other materials during the appointment process. But I started my career in local government for the city of Mountain View as an intern out of college, working for the solid waste and recycling program for the city of Mountain View. And 23 years later, I ended up as the deputy city manager for the city of Mountain View. At that time, and that was 4 years ago, I moved over to the Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space District, which is the local government special district structured exactly like a city council manager form of government is structured, that oversees and manages all of the 63,000 plus acres of open space preserves on the peninsula, half of San Mateo County, half of Santa Clara County. Spent 4 years there as the assistant general manager, overseeing their operations department and the natural resources department and human resources, and just generally serving as the assistant general manager for financial strategies. And through that process, Mid-Penn in 2014 passed the second largest GEO bond measure in California state history for parks and open space, Measure AA, $300 million GO bond measure, and that began a trajectory of revamping, reorganizing that organization to be able to deliver those projects, and that's what I was critically working on for Mid-Penn. But the calling to come back to city government, was out there, and now I'm here in Pacifica, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know this community, getting to know the organization, getting to know the city council members and all of the committee and commissioners, and think I'll leave my introductory comments to that, and I can answer any questions too that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Woodhouse. Let's see if any of the commissioners have any questions for you. Commissioner Clifford.
Well, I actually don't have any questions, but I did want to give you a welcome aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Is that Commissioner Stedjink? Is that your button there?
It is. I'd like to say welcome aboard, and we have high hopes for you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
I'm guessing the entirety of the commission will probably want to do that. How about Commissioner Campbell? Why don't you go ahead and take your turn?
Welcome aboard. Really pleased with the expertise that they're bringing on board. So look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Right.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
again, and thanks for
Appreciate
making
that.
some time to come out and join us this evening.
Yes, welcome aboard.
Thank
It's my
you.
first evening as well. So
Yeah. Well, welcome aboard to you.
Thank you.
And I'll look forward to listening and learning tonight as I sit through the meeting. So,
Well, you
thank
came on the right evening. We have a relatively brief agenda, so we may get you home relatively soon.
Great.
Thanks so much
All right.
for coming again, and we really appreciate your service to the city.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, that then will take us to our public hearing, our new public hearing for the evening, and that's Coastal Development Permit CDP 38917, filed by property owner John Rios Finnemore and Christina Jean Shoup to demolish a single-family residence at 270 Sterling Avenue, APN 023-023-040. This is a recommended CEQA action of Class 1 categorically exempt pursuant to Section 15301 of the CEQA guidelines, and the recommended action is to approve as condition. Can we get a staff report for this item?
Thank you. Good evening, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Robert Smith, and I'll be giving the presentation for 270 Sterling Avenue. The application, as you mentioned, is for a coastal development permit. The home is currently in a dilapidated state of repair, with code enforcement violations dating back to early 2015. The applicant has conducted testing at the site for the presence of hazardous materials such as lead and asbestos, and in order to take provisions for the substances during the demolition process. Once the building's been removed, the site will be filled and graded to the level of the surrounding slope. Stormwater control measures will be installed on the vacant site and include seeded erosion control fabric, fiber rolls or silt fences, sediment basin, and sandbag sediment barrier. The project is consistent with the findings of the coastal development permit as set out in the staff report. The project, as you mentioned, is exempt from CEQA, and staff is recommending approval of the coastal development permit. Staff are available for questions at this time, and the applicant is present should you have questions for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Any questions for staff at this point? I don't see any questions. The applicant, of course, is entitled to address the commission if the applicant has anything to add to the staff report that we've received on the matter. I don't see that there's any desire then to address the commission, so why don't we go ahead and just, and I don't see that there are any other individuals who want to address the commission on this matter, so we'll consider any public hearing on this matter closed. So we'll bring it back to the commission. Any comments or at all, or discussion from the commission at this point? See a few lights. Commissioner Clifford.
This particular project looks like we just got to do it. It's simple, straightforward. We're going to take down a very old, dilapidated building and reconstitute the land so that it can be built on again at a later date.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Campbell.
Yeah, I'm really supportive of this demo, and I've been up that street and by that house numerous times. I know some folks who live basically across the street, and I know they've wanted this torn down for a long time. The one thing I would note is whatever is built there, I really hope they pay mind as you come off, I think it's Olympia, onto that street. I think it's Olympia. Am I wrong on that? I don't know. It's a very tight corner. So right now, they've got like a mirror up that kind of shows you traffic that's coming the other way. So just whatever plans that are being devised for that lot, I hope they take into account that there's going to need to be some sight lines in place. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Campbell. Commissioner Stedging.
Yeah, I've read the documents, and I've also visited the site. My question is for staff. Is, say, it's listed as 800 square feet and looks significantly larger than that.
Yeah, the site is 880 square feet for the floor area of the home, and I think predominantly the floor area is deceptive by the way that the house is built up the slope.
And is there another unpermitted addition on the back in addition to that 800 square feet?
I don't have that information available, but the building official has been out to the site and examined the structure as it sits.
Well, it's definitely one of the ugliest ducklings within 2 blocks of that location. I'm curious, are there any negatives for this? It's 11.5. Standard lot is 5,000 square feet. Are there any negatives for the city if that lot is subdivided after this demolition?
There are subdivision regulations for the area that would come into play if the lot were to be subdivided. I'm not sure of the specific average cross slope of that site, but that would play into whether the site is able to be subdivided, and I believe that the cross slope is currently too great to support 2 separate lots on that site, but I would have to check the information to
And that's with the current grading, correct?
the current cross slope of the site, yeah.
And I do agree with the previous commissioner who had noted a parking problem there. I drove up there tonight, and it took about 3 minutes just to get by that particular section as people were coming in and out there. It's awfully tight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stedging. Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, I think this is a great project. It's taking out a dilapidated home, a derelict home, I like that word, is something that's in our interests as a city, and replacing it with something great. We look forward to it, and I'm prepared to make a motion if anybody else doesn't want to speak.
I don't see any other lights, so I've got nothing to add to what's been said. I don't know if Commissioner Kraske, anything else you wanted to add to the mix?
No, I think it's a relatively straightforward project.
Thank you. Why don't you go ahead and make your motion then?
Okay. I move that the Planning Commission finds the project is exempt from SEQA and approve Coastal Development Permit CDP-389-17 by adopting the resolution included as Attachment B to the staff report, including conditions of approval in Exhibit A to the resolution, and incorporate all maps and testimony into the record by reference.
Thank you. Commissioner Clifford, looks like you were next to your light.
I would second that.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. Why don't we go ahead and vote on the motion? Okay, well, that's unanimously approved. That then takes us to communications. Do we have any commission communications? Commissioner Stedging. I'm sorry, maybe that light was left over. I apologize.
It's entirely possible it was, but I'm going to take advantage of it anyway. I'm curious to staff, are there any plans to have any sort of public information session on the final result of the ADU legislation?
In terms of just for the general public?
Yeah, I'm thinking something like hour and a half at the community center. Here's what your new rights are. You know, you essentially can put another mother-in-law unit in your backyard, something you couldn't have done a year ago. You've got up to 1,200 square feet. It's got to be lower in height. It's got to be smaller than the square footage, just the 10 bullet points.
Right, we had not planned on that, but I can bring it up with the city manager and see if we want to provide that education to the public.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, I just want to extend a warm welcome to the Commissioner Kraske. Welcome aboard, and hope your time on here is as wonderful as mine's been.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Clifford.
Well, I'm going to start off with my report for the Library Advisory Committee. And basically is that they're making good progress, working hard. It was a good meeting. Everybody was there, I believe, or if not, very close to the full committee. And things are moving along.
Thank you, and thank you for your work on that committee on behalf of the commission. I guess that exhausts commission communications, staff communications.
So I wanted to let you all know that the message that you'd like some information on the housing bills that were recently signed into law did get passed on to me. I am going to attend a 21 Elements education session on that this Thursday, and so I should have some material to forward on to the commission. And I also wanted to let you know that the governor did veto SB 649, which was the bill that would have limited drastically city's discretion regarding wireless and small cell communication facilities within right-of-ways. So that bill was vetoed. That was all I have tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I guess that takes us then to adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Commissioner Clifford.
I move that we adjourn.
Commissioner Gordon.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion is second. Why don't we go ahead and vote? Oh, unanimously approved. Thank you very much.
17 minutes.
You still have
I do.
Adjourn.